Hello, Greg from Balloon Market here, and welcome to BMTV. Now, it's quite an unusual one this week because we've got a brand new guest, somebody you would not have seen before in the balloon industry, I believe. We are joined by a young lady called Ellen Wain from Silhouette UK. Ellen, hello.
Hi, how are you? You okay?
I'm all right, thank you. Welcome to BMTV for the first time.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
So you are here today to tell us a little bit about the, that machine in front of you, aren't you? The Cameo 4.
Yes.
So, and
Yes.
what are you going to do? You're going to talk us through it, tell us what it can do.
Yeah, so I thought I'd come on and show you guys what the machine is, how to use the machine, what different features are to the machine, just basically just go through it all so everyone knows how to use it.
Okay, fantastic. I will warn you that I have no experience of this at all. Rachel, my wife, we did get one of these years and years ago. It was the Cameo 2. And she used that, and it was able to do all sorts of interesting things. And yeah, I managed just to do the names to stick on my daughter's doors, and that was it. So, but this is the Cameo 4, obviously a couple of generations ahead. Over to you. Tell us all about it.
So this is the Cameo 4. It's quite new to the market. So there has been original Cameos, Cameo 2, Cameo 3, and then the Cameo 4. So there's lots of different upgrades to this machine in comparison to the other machines. So there's a lot of Silhouette users out there that have, they've bought the machines and using it for, the balloon market. So customers and the audience can use other materials that they've used previously in this machine also. So this is the Cameo 4. It's the 12-inch model. It comes in 3 different colours. So you've got the option of having a white machine, a black, or a pink. So you've got 3 different options depending on what colour that you want the most. So this is the new appearance of the machine. You've got your lid there, and then you've got all your tool carriage here. It does look a lot more upgraded in comparison to the Cameo 3. There's lots of features on it which are very useful. In terms of, so if I just turn the machine around, you've got cross-cut elements to the machine here.
Okay, you'll have to explain to me what that means.
Yes, so when you're feeding the material through, you can cut off the excess material.
Oh, I see.
There.
Okay.
You've got the roll feeder, which is on the front of the machine.
Yeah.
Here is where you would load the roll or sheets of material into the front of the machine here.
Okay, so what do? You just put the vinyl, if you've got a roll of vinyl, you just slot it on there?
Yes, so you would have a roll of vinyl for this, for instance.
That's what you've got.
And you can pop it in on here. Yeah, one that I had before. And you would feed it through the machine this way, and then it can feed through the back. So depending on the size rolls or what sort of material that you're using, there is a roll feeder. It also does guide the material through easier as well, so it's not going off track at all.
Yeah.
So you have a nice accurate cut. So you've got 2 tool heads here, tool carriage 1 and tool carriage number 2. They're different blades in comparison to the other machine. They have an auto detect. So the machine comes with an auto detect blade. It's got a sensor on the back of the blade. So when you're using the software, it'll pick up what blade that you're using. So again, it's a nice handy feature to have.
So you don't need to do any adjustment or anything there. It just basically detects what you're cutting and cuts it at the right depth or something like that?
Yeah, so in the software it has default settings. So in there, if you're using a specific vinyl, it will guide you on what settings you'd need.
Okay.
So that's with the auto blade. So in the settings you can amend and adjust the settings, but usually if you're using a Silhouette brand, the settings that are in the software work and they're compatible. So you just pop the blade in, select the material, and then you're good to go.
That's easy.
So you've got Yeah, it is really, really simple. So you've got two carriage heads, so you can perform two different jobs, two different applications, whether you're using it to cut material or whether you're using it to sketch material, like drawing, plotting on paper.
All right.
You've got different tool heads for different applications, different jobs, different projects. So you've got the on and off button at the side, which I probably should have mentioned before. On and off button at the side, and it is a control panel on the front as well. So this lights up in LED once it's plugged in.
Yeah.
I haven't plugged it in just yet because I just want to talk you through the machine beforehand. Yeah. But it is a control panel, touchscreen.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, sorry.
It's obviously you said about the roll. You can put the roll on there. Most of our viewers, our customers out there, they use vinyl, and we personalise balloons, as you said. But so you've got the roll, so you can put that on there. What is the mat? We sell the mat as well. How do you use that? Is that different to just putting it straight through?
So, with the mat, the machine, the Cameo 4 does include a mat in the box. The mat is for using, used to be for when you're cutting straight through the material. Okay. So there's different terminologies when you're cutting out materials. You've got either a die cut or a kiss cut.
Oh.
The difference being between a die cut and a kiss cut is die cut references cutting right through the material. Yeah. Whereas a kiss cut is you're cutting the first layer of the material. Oh, so you just so you're piercing it, just a nice light cut. Yeah. So that's the differences. With the Cameo 4, you can now die cut, so cut right through the material without using a mat. Okay. Because the carriage is slightly offset. So there is a cutting strip where if you are die cutting, the blade would sit and cut into the cutting strip rather than on the actual, the machine. Yeah. So that's a new upgrade to this machine. But with the cutting mat, I don't actually have one with me, but you just, as you would with the length of the machine here, you would just load it in and then perform the cut. So it's just the material would be stuck to the mat. It's
effectively to protect the machine then, so when you cut through the vinyl, the mat protects it.
Yeah, or you can look at it in another aspect of if you've had off-cut materials, so materials that you've used and you've got a little design and you don't want to chuck it away because you can use it, you can stick it on the mat and then feed it through the machine. Oh, so right, okay. You've got that is another way you can use the cut mat.
Yeah, that's very clever.
So included in the box of the Cameo 4, so you have the machine, you have an auto detect blade, which is that one with the sensor. You have 4 adapters, which are just little collars that go over old blades, well not old blades, but blades that were for previous models. Yeah. So if you are a Silhouette user and you've got the original Cameo or the Cameo 3 or a different model die cut machine, for instance the Portrait, other blades you can still use in this machine, but you just need to pop them into the collar, the adapter, and then put them into the machine. So different colours mean different blades that you pop into them. Software is also included in with the machine. It's just the Silhouette Basic Edition where you can create your designs. There is a subscription as well for the design store. So with the software, you have a Silhouette Design Store where you can purchase or download different designs. If you're a new user and you're not too sure on what sort of shapes and things to use, you can go into the design store and download different shapes, different project ideas. So you have a certain amount of credit when you subscribe for your first month for free. So you can download different shapes, different designs, project ideas. Of course, you have your power supply as well, which is included in the box, and a USB cable. You don't necessarily need to use the USB cable because it is actually Bluetooth as well. You can connect it via Bluetooth. So it is a wireless connectivity too.
So you use the software through your laptop, however you connect it, either by the USB or by Bluetooth. Does it have to be a laptop, or can you do it on your iPad? What are the limitations?
It is just laptops or computer desktops at the moment.
Yeah.
As I mentioned with these adapters, there is a blue adapter which you can use a sketch pen in. So if you were creating a design, you can add a sketch pen into the blue. You've got the grey, which is for a deep cut blade. Again, users that have used the Silhouette machines before will know what I'm referenced to. But if not, we can always do another video on different blades for the machine.
Absolutely.
Because it'll go on forever. You've got a black one, a black adapter as well, which is for your ratchet blade and premium blades. And then you've got your white for a new blade actually, which was launched alongside the Cameo 4, which is for a craft blade as well.
All right. Okay, cool.
All of these can only go in carriage number 1. There is a different groove on the back of the carriage number 1 in comparison to carriage number 2.
Okay.
So you won't have any trouble knowing which carriage to put the adapter in or the blades in. There's only one way.
I think we should definitely do another show, Ellen, on blades.
Yeah,
that sounds good.
Absolutely, absolutely. So that's the basics really of what the Cameo 4 is. You can you can do different applications with it, whether that's cutting or drawing or cutting out fabric. There's loads of different projects that you can get stuck into with the Cameo 4.
So most of our customers, as I say, they use vinyl. They stick the vinyl onto the balloons. What other materials do people use this with then?
There is other materials that you can put through the Cameo machine. It can cut up to 5. Well, it's got a pressure head of 5 kilograms of force, so you can put thick materials through the machine as well if you wanted to etch onto the material. So heat transfer vinyl, which you can put onto t-shirts or garments. You can put in different fabrics into the machine if you were doing a bit of DIY at home. There is lots of different materials which you can put through it. Really, it's not until when you think of the idea then you realise it can cut through the machine.
Okay. Right. What are we going to do now?
What I can do is I can pop the machine on and just send a job through and see what you think of the machine.
Sounds exciting. Let's do that.
There we go. So I'm not too sure whether you can see. This is the control panel here. So you've got 2 arrows and a Bluetooth little logo there. So the 2 arrows is for navigating the material in or out. Okay. When you've loaded it up, and then you've got your Bluetooth function there for when you want to connect it via Bluetooth. Also, once you've connected it to your computer in the software, you'll have 4 different arrows up on the front screen here. Yeah. So that's when you've loaded your material in, that's when you can move this carriage head into different areas. So you're not just limited from using it on the left-hand side, you can move it into the centre or the right-hand side.
So if you've used part of a piece of vinyl already, then you could move it to the part that you've not used and start there. Is that right?
Yeah, you've got your little lever here. Once you fed the material in, it will just lock the material into place, so it wouldn't move, it wouldn't skew. You've got these little pinch rollers here, again, which when you're putting through, say, a 12-inch piece of media, which is the maximum length this machine can take, you can move the rollers about, so you've got that consistent force, so the material's not lifting, and so you've got that option as well. Okay, so loading the machine up. So all I've got here is just some standard vinyl, which you can apply onto some balloons, for instance. Because it is on a roll, you don't necessarily have to use a roll, vinyl on a roll. You can always import sheets of vinyl, sheets of paper. Yeah. The good thing about the Cameo 4 is you've got this roll feeder at the front, so you can pop the material into the front. You've got little grooves here, so the rolls can fit in, so they're not going to move. If you had a smaller roll as well, these do move.
All right, okay, good.
So it's catered for all different sizes. Then you can feed the material through this cutout here.
Yeah.
Just to guide the material so it doesn't move. And then you just feed it through just like this. And then once you're happy with where the media is, you would just press the arrow. And like magic, it will feed the material through the machine. What I need to do is pop the blade in. So you just pop the blade in just like so. You need to make sure you push the blade right down so you can feel it there, and it'll click into place. Sometimes you won't get the accurate cut because the blade's not fully sat into the tool head. Okay. But you'll know straight away once it's sitting in, because when you open and close, there's it's like a blue dot on top of the carriage head, so you'll know once you've clicked it into place.
I see. Okay.
So that's that. So that is all ready to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, in the software, I've got a design ready to go.
So you have to move that head over because you've obviously cut something out already.
Yeah, so I've got a design here that I cut previously. Okay. So what I can do is you can just move the arrows, save wasting any material. Yeah. And then where you've positioned the tool carriage, that is where it'll perform the next job from where you've left the arrow. So you can feed it through however far that you need to. It's all connected. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to send the job across and see the results. There we go. And then once it's finished the job, it will go back to the original origin point of where it began the job. Once you're finished with performing your cut, as I mentioned before, you can either feed the material right through the machine, so you can do the cross cut. Yep. So it's just a nice clean cut of the material through the back of the machine, or you can feed it back through the front of the machine. And just use it that way. So there's another arrow on here which then ejects the material from the machine. Okay. So if you just press that, and what it'll do is it will, retrieve the material from the machine and come back to the original default settings in the corner. And then, as you can see, you've got your cut here, and then all you need to do then is just weed away the material, and then you can then apply that onto your balloon, for instance. In
case anybody's wondering, when you say weed away, what does that mean?
Yes, so that's another terminology when using vinyl. So weeding away just basically means you've got your design and then you're going to remove the rest of the material that you don't need. Yeah. So that terminology is called weed away. So you're just pulling away material that you don't need.
Yeah. This has been a very good introduction to the machine itself, and showing us how simple it is. That and we'll have to have a look at the software at some point as well. But showing us how simple it is. Is the software easy to use? If you're not what if you're not a techie kind of person?
I'm not the most technical person, and I seem to work it okay. It's very much like Paint, Word Paint. You would just, you can create all your designs in there. Yeah. It's all pretty straightforward because you can just, change different settings in the software. But like you say, we'll have to have another tutorial on how to use the software.
Ellen, that was wonderful. Thank you so much for that introduction, and thanks for coming on BMTV. And I hope we can do something again very, very soon.
Yeah, it was fun.
Thank you to everybody out there for watching. Thank you for subscribing. If you've not subscribed, please do, and hit the little bell icon. Stay safe, and I look forward to seeing you all again next week. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.